You know, when you meet a guy you really like, and you're very picky, so that's rare. And then you see that he is actually not pursuing you the way you would want to. He is a bit more reserved, he takes his time. So it makes you think, okay, since I like him and I know I'm picky, it means that many other women like him too, which means he has options, which means I must not be fully his type since he is not that obsessed with me. So, in a nutshell, I am not quite his type. But what you don't realize is how that belief changes the way you show up to that connection and how it creates the exact dynamic you are afraid of. In this episode, I will explain to you how believing that you are not his type turns you into a woman who tries to earn attention and why that's exactly what makes you lose it. If you're new here, my name is Laura Nagel. I'm the author of The Dream Framework, the first and only dating coaching program with a 6-month results guarantee. I have helped over 100 women find the one within weeks and months, and I would love for your story to be next. Let's get into it. Okay, so when you arrive at a conclusion that you are not ticking some of his boxes, what are you actually saying? You're saying, one, that he has more value than you in the dating market, that he has more options than you in the dating market. And this in turn means that in order to be a match for him, you need to up level in a way, maybe hide certain parts of yourself or fabricate new parts to you. You're already positioning yourself as somebody beneath him, and you disqualify yourself in a way. And because you're self-disqualifying, that already changes your approach towards that connection from evaluating him and expressing yourself to evaluating yourself while desperately trying to get him. In practice, that shift from self-expression to self-evaluation demonstrates as you feeling much more stiff and way less relaxed, you censoring yourself, you filtering yourself, always trying to be on, always trying to be self-aware so that you can monitor yourself and catch the parts that you believe are lowering your value. And that in turn makes it extremely hard for him to actually connect to you because you are always in that state of hyper awareness. You are always in that state of slight anxiety because you feel like you're being observed and watched and judged, which creates a constant pressure to perform. So instead of allowing yourself to genuinely connect with him, you are constantly focused on trying to impress him and outperform other women that you believe he has lined up as options. And I'm sure all of my perfectionists out there will resonate with this because what that setup does is makes you crazy about proving your value, about saying the right things, about managing his perception of you so that he understands that yes, he's a great guy, but you are a great woman, much better than all of the others that are potentially vying for his attention. You're trying to prove to him how interesting and impressive you are. And because you're so goal-oriented with this guy, as opposed to just allowing things unfold naturally, you start adjusting and almost performing. And that's at the center of what makes ambitious women spiral in dating. Because it's so hard to meet a guy at their level, when they do, they are so obsessed about proving their value. They drive themselves crazy choosing which opinions to share and in what tone, how available they should be, what they should share and what they shouldn't, how open should they be, and in general, trying to make themselves appeal cool and calm and easygoing, but high value at the same time. And again, because you are not allowing things to just flow, this is when you unintentionally start playing games because you're not just giving him your true availability. You're trying to engineer what's going to make you look the coolest. Instead of communicating to him that you don't agree with something, you're trying to frame it in a way that is cool and doesn't turn him off in any way, which very often ends up either making you too agreeable or too cold and confrontative, again, because you're not being yourself. And because you know this is not authentic, this leads to over-explaining yourself and defaulting to relying on your achievements and what it is that you can do instead of what it is that you are, who you are. One of the most common misconceptions about feminine energy that I absolutely hate is that being in your feminine means being submissive and being quiet and being the background to the man. It's absolutely the opposite. Feminine energy is truly a force of nature. It's creativity, it's inspiration, it's a fire. Feminine is just as strong as masculine. It just demonstrates differently. And if you want to be in your feminine in a relationship, in dating, you want to focus on being rather than doing, because the feminine attracts. It's the masculine that pursues. And if you are consciously or unconsciously inserting yourself in a dynamic where you feel like you have to pursue, you will naturally step into your masculine. You will naturally rely on your achievements instead of focusing on that fire of self-love and self-admiration, which in turn create that magnetism and that undescribable factor that makes some women irresistible. And what I love about working with smart, ambitious, high-achieving women is that they already have so much of that fire in them. But the problem is they are harnessing that fire, that energy, in a masculine way. And as much as it's working for them perfectly in their professional life and many other areas, this approach does not work in dating. Because in the context of dating, using your energy, using your strength in a masculine way looks like overanalyzing, looks like constant strategizing, looks like monitoring, editing, pursuing. It looks like effort and constant optimization. And that is a man's role. And all romantic relationships require energy polarity. So if you are approaching a romantic connection with masculine energy, it's only natural that you will repel another person who also has that masculine energy. It's like magnets. Two magnets with the same charge will always repel. And this is why you are attracting guys who are passive, who are lazy, who are not stepping up the way you want them to, because they have that passive charge, that soft charge, that feminine charge. And this is why there is that initial attraction. What it ends up being later is another story, but that's the simplest explanation behind why so many losers are attracted to you and why so many men you are attracted to are actually not attracted to you back, at least not with the same intensity. And you know, for a long time, I really dislike the terminology around energy because these are such esoteric terms. And this is why it's so important to me that these are explained in the simplest terms. And in the context of dating, it means not just tolerating or accepting everything about yourself, loving and embracing it fully. Because when you are in that divine feminine frequency, this is when you effortlessly inspire men to give you only the best. This is when you are effortlessly magnetic and relaxed and calm and charming and irresistible on so many levels because you allow yourself your truest expression. And this message is not for all of the women out there, because I genuinely do believe that there is a massive group of women who actually are asking for too much in comparison to their level of development and what they represent themselves today. But I'm not speaking to these women. I'm speaking to the women who have done therapy, who read books, who listen to many podcasts, and who are really big into personal development. You have worked so hard to become that brilliant, amazing woman. So what these thoughts and limiting beliefs around how men perceive you and if they see you as worthy enough, if they appreciate you the way you should, what it does is gets in your way of you fully expressing who you are and allowing these men to see it. So basically, the harder you try for them to see how amazing you are, the more difficult it is for them to see it. It's annoying, I know. And this is why there's an art to being charismatic and elegant and irresistible as a woman. This is why, like many other skills worth having in life, this is something that's taught, and very few people are naturally just born with it. Now, you might be listening to this and thinking, Laura, that's all well and good, but I don't think you understand how hard it is to find a man I actually like. So how do I stay in that energy of being relaxed and calm and not worrying about where it's going to go, where I genuinely really want it to go somewhere? I'm worried that if I don't try hard enough, he will not choose me, and I will miss my chance with a guy who I think could be a really great match for me. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely hear and understand all of that. I was there myself. But the moment you allow yourself to follow that train of thought, you are putting yourself into the pursuit mode. You are the one who's trying to earn his interest. You are the one who is giving more, initiating more, just investing more in general. And you are the one who's seeking validation. And nothing kills attraction more for a man than a woman who is more keen than he is. Because one, it completely removes the dynamic of pursuit, and men are wired to try and pursue, to try and hunt and conquer. Men love the chase, and the moment you remove it, things get boring. And if you're trying to negotiate and justify why you pursue him by saying that allowing a man to chase you is just playing games, that in the end you are in a relationship and then there's no more chase, so why would you engage in it in the first place? I have some bad news for you, because yes, in healthy romantic relationships, there is always an element of chasing. Not chasing in the sense of I'm trying to make you mine, but it's a chase on an emotional level. It's about a woman always being able to surprise her man, not in a forced way, but by just being herself, by allowing herself to grow and develop and evolve, and allowing the man to be enchanted by it, to see it and fall in love with it more and more every day. And the more in awe he will be, the more he will want to try and win you every single day, because he will know that if you keep growing, if he is not growing with you, you will outgrow him one day, and so will your needs. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent here. Going back to what a man is feeling when you enter the energy of chase instead of allowing him to be in it. There will be no polarity, because you are doing all the work, you are being the man, you are taking away the fun of chase from him, and men are biologically wired to crave that. I cannot stress that enough. It's not even a conscious desire on his end. That's just what he has been born to do. And because of that, if you fill these shoes, he will feel no need to step up, and the energy will somehow feel off. He will not even be able to fully explain it, because for him, you might also be ticking all of the boxes. You present yourself very well, since you are treating these dates like job interviews, and you're good at those. So you will present yourself very well. But for some reason, he will feel that something is off. He will not feel that spark, that intrigue, that challenge, and that pull forward. And this is very often why ambitious and successful women end up in that position where a man they like ends up choosing a woman who they can see it's not half as attractive and accomplished and smart as they are, and yet he chose her. And you might be wondering, what does she have that I don't? And the answer often is, she has the self-love, the confidence, and the nonchalance, and the undeniable magnetism that comes with it. So if right now you're seeing a man where you feel like he is not putting in an equal amount of effort compared to you, instead of just assuming that it's him not liking you so much, take a look at how you're showing up to that connection. Because it might just be that you are setting that dynamic and you are creating that imbalance. This is when you're able to rebalance the dynamic. This is when your self-respect replaces the constant need of proving and seeking validation and working hard to get the attention and the attraction. This is also what sets foundation for a long-lasting relationship, because instead of focusing on yourself in the sense of how he is perceiving you, whether he likes you, whether he's going to choose you, how do you compare to other women he's seeing, where you completely forget about actually looking out for the alignment and long-term sustainability, you are able to observe him and see if he is actually someone you like, if there are any red flags, if there's anything at all that you have doubts about. And that alone helps you avoid many failed situationships or potential relationships. Another reason why going from the performer to the chooser in dating is so important is because if you focus on bringing a performance, not just your best self, you are setting up a situation that is impossible to sustain. So if you had to earn it, you will have to maintain it, but you cannot act and pretend forever. If you are creating a specific version of yourself just for him that is not truly you, how are you gonna live like that 24/7 when you guys move in together? How are you going to maintain it when you're ill? How are you going to maintain it when you're overwhelmed with other life situations? Life is long. So if you want to find a partner for the rest of your life, you cannot lead your search with being someone you're not. As obvious as it sounds, that's a mistake so many women make. And that's the point I want to end with and invite you to reflect on. How much of your true self are you bringing to dating right now? And if you feel like you don't, why is that? If you're not sure how to answer that question, take my dating audit. In less than 5 minutes, it will tell you what is stopping you from meeting your dream man. As always, the link will be in the show notes. And if you found that episode helpful, make sure to share it with a single friend who might need to hear this too, and subscribe because I post every Sunday. I'll see you next week.